Let's rise for a moment of silent meditation. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Bast.
Here.
Cassatt.
Here.
Mope.
Here.
Sosar.
Here.
Mundy.
Here. Next, approving the minutes of the previous meeting, August 19, 2014, work session and regular meeting.
Approve. Present.
Second, all in favor say aye.
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 Next is proclamations, communications, none. Courtesy of the floor regarding matters on our agenda only.
I know you're going to be voting, Norman Tarantino, Hazleton, League Court. I know you're going to be voting on a resolution regarding the grant people, and I want to let you know that I gave Councilman Cassatt a copy of Grant Writing for Dummies for you guys all to borrow after he's done listening to it, and it might help you with some of your grant processes. So that is now part of the city archives after you guys are done listening to it. So I just want to I know it might sound kind of stupid that I'm doing that, but I found it in my collection of stuff this weekend, and I figured it should go right to you guys to help you guys with your problems here in the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mark Rabo, Hazleton. With regards to resolution 2014-99 for the codes for recodifying the ordinances, some of them, like in the city code, city administration code, a lot of them are either obsolete or are wrong and just are not in compliance with state laws. So that would be nice to have. The thing is, will the mayor and the department heads abide by it if we ever did it? That would be my question for that. Resolution 2014-100 for the Vacant Property Committee. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a resolution appointing somebody to a blighted building committee of maybe a month or two back? Mr. Ziegler, I believe his name is. And so do we have two separate committees that do the same thing? And if we do, then how does that jive, as far as being...
Yeah, there's two committees.
Yeah.
One is for blighted, I guess, if somebody's living in the property or whatever, and it's bad shape.
If they do the same thing, Gene, then that would actually be under the redevelopment law. It says it's the same thing, vacant and blighted property review committee under section 12.1.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that was the reasoning.
But if that's the case, if that is the rationale, then wouldn't there should be a nuisance abatement board that would deal with, if it's an occupied owner, like an owner that has a building that's occupied, multi-family or single family that's renting, that would be prevalent, but then it should be stated it's a nuisance abatement board, not a blighted building committee. So I think that, and also getting back to, this ties in with the codes. How is it that if you have this, like this new code book, wouldn't you have to go back in all of the different resolutions, different ordinances, and figure out which ones are not, viable anymore? And, you'd have to repeal those and then pass them again instead of just getting a new code book done. I mean, that just makes no sense to me.
Mark, this is again one of my challenges, I guess, to the council and to the administration here. Number one, I agree with you that the boards and the commissions, and I've said this a number of times from this seat this year, the boards and commissions need to be made to be functioning together. It's only then that you're going to actually have a well-oiled and a city moving ahead. And I think you're right, a lot of those things can be condensed under the one committee that can handle this all. Yeah, and if you have well-oiled committees and commissions that are working and are doing what they need to do, they'd be able to review what is in-house in the city already and be able to come up with what needs fixing, what needs to be eliminated, and what needs to be retained.
Well, Dr. Sosar, in 2011, this was attempted, and quite honestly, it was either done not in compliance with state law or done woefully inadequately in terms of none of the people or persons that were on these boards had no clue, and even the solicitor at that time of those boards pretty much either misquoted or didn't know anything, about like how the meetings were supposed to be run. So,
right. What I would suggest to you is, because this is going to come up, later again in this meeting, I can guarantee you. This has been ad lib government by this administration for a long time, and we've got to put together sound working committees that are going to be able to work in unison with one another, know, because of the guidance that they have, what should be and should not be, and then we can start moving ahead. I agree with you that just having a committee to have a committee is not worth it. It's not worth it. But if you put them together and you get them to work and you get them to know what their responsibilities are, it works.
yes. And you have to have qualified and certified people on especially when dealing with infrastructure. You don't put fly-by-nighters on boards just because they happen to know a friend or a family of a faction, and that's the way it is. So that's why I don't, hey, the county saw my qualities and decided to put me on a board because of based on the merits, not based on some favor that I owed or some
Mark,
person that I know.
honestly, that's one of the goals we have that we're trying to work towards. We need to get these committees established once again, all right? And then what we have to do is make sure that they work properly, they have the right information, they have guidance. If, in the areas, they have a solicitor that understands this area. So we have to be fussy, let's say, of who goes on as far as qualified individuals. So
Might I
agree.
suggest, Gene, an interview, a public interview process like they have at the county level?
Yeah.
Because I think if at a public interview, then it would allow for full transparency, so everybody knows who's applying for these boards, what their qualifications are, and it's open and
Mark, we
honest.
tried to do that and have resumes and have the people come here when we were putting them on whatever, to at least try to see what their qualifications and their background was. And we've had resumes come and people be interviewed at the council meetings. So we're hoping that that continues. These are boards that have not functioned in a long time, and we're trying to resurrect them. All right, and get them back up. Now, with cooperation with the mayor, maybe this can transpire. If he doesn't cooperate with us, we're still with our oars in the water, rowing and going nowhere. We need cooperation.
And as far as these grants go, like for the other resolution for what you're saying about the grants, how much are we paying the person for the CD for writing the grants? We're paying this person, I don't know how much, and you're paying this person, and what have we got, what has the city gotten in terms of these grants? I mean, I asked her about the comprehensive plan, if there was a comprehensive plan that was updated, would the city get more money? And she said yes. So why wouldn't she, at least try
Pursue it.
to, like push that?
Dr. Sosa brought that up too as well, and yeah, it does need to be updated. Things have changed over the years.
All right, I have some more, but I'll wait till the end of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thanks. Any other questions for matters on agenda only? Next, old business, ordinance 2014-13, an ordinance allowing on-street parking on Laurel Street. First reading, it was tabled.
Make a motion to take it off the table?
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
On the question?
You need to vote to take it off the table, Jack.
Roll call. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
No,
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. It stays tabled. Next is ordinance 2014-14, an ordinance allowing on-street parking on the west side of Pine Street. First reading. It was tabled on 8/19/14.
I guess I'll make a motion to take it off the table?
I'll second it.
Motion to table, roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
no,
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next is ordinance 2014-15, an ordinance allowing on-street parking on Wyoming Street. First reading, tabled 8/19/14.
Motion to take it off the table?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
no,
Sosar,
No.
No.
Mundy.
No. Next is resolution 2014-16, allowing on-street parking on north side of Walnut Street. First reading.
Make a motion to take it off the table?
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
no,
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next is resolution 2014-92, a resolution authorizing the preparation and solicitation of requests for proposals for independent grant writing services to assist the city of Hazleton.
Present.
I'll second for discussion purposes.
Roll call to take it off the table.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
no,
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next, resolution 2014-93, a resolution authorizing the preparation and solicitation of requests for proposals for services to assist the city of Hazleton in identifying and introducing back into the tax rolls properties that are not currently listed on the tax rolls.
I'll make a motion to take it off the table?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
no,
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. That's it for old business. New business is ordinances, none. Resolutions. Resolution 2014-96, a resolution reconsidering and overriding the mayor's veto of ordinance 2014-10.
I'll present.
I'll second. Excuse me, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Which, because
On the question.
it only has the numbers on it, what is
What are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing here?
2014-10? Which one is that?
This is overriding the mayor's veto. This is the
Override of the mayor's veto.
third-class city home.
Oh, no, this is the parking on Chestnut Street.
Okay, parking on Chestnut. What is the next one, if you don't mind?
11 is adding new line items to the budget, and 12 is, let's see, changing the procedures for awarding of bids.
Okay, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is parking on Chestnut Street.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, want to start from the beginning?
Yeah, okay, this is the resolution to override the mayor's veto on Chestnut Street. If we don't override the veto, then there's no parking on Chestnut Street.
Right.
Right, yeah.
If we do override it,
It allows free
It allows-
parking.
This was for free parking, right?
Yeah.
That you guys
Yeah,
wanted
but
free parking?
we've had a problem with the contract now. We don't know, isn't a part, so this is why I think it should just
We're-
die.
we're not sure if it's going to be free parking anyway, so there's a question to that. So what we could do is let it die, and we could introduce it later and pass it again, and if the mayor vetoes it, we could override his veto.
Right.
Do you want to talk about the Chestnut situation or not at all? Like,
Well,
doesn't,
well, for now, we could let it die and then bring it up later,
no, okay.
and to make sure that there's going to be free parking. We're not sure if the mayor has decided that should be free parking, or if he's going to decide to make it paid parking.
Well, as it stands now, there's no parking allowed there at all.
Right.
So
And that's how it will stay until we find out what's
And-
going on.
the parking authority has no right to sell spaces on a street that there's no parking.
Right.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
And
But-
it was not part of the agreement that was,
No.
But the mayor seems to be doing what he wants.
Yeah,
to
we're
do, so-
going to want some reassurances that if we pass this and it's going to be free parking,
So we-
it's going to be
Respect
free
it.
parking.
so we let it die. If we let it die,
Then the mayor
there's no
can't-
legally, there's no parking on Chestnut Street.
Correct. It's
And
the
the-
same as it was.
Just
And
leave it as it
It
goes.
Yeah.
just stands as it is.
Okay.
Until we get some clear answers from the mayor.
However, you did bring it up, so you either need to vote on it or table it.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to vote to
I just wanted-
override the veto, and
I just wanted to make the public that there is no parking.
we don't override,
There's no parking on Chestnut Street. The lines are painted there, but they're
Just let it
incorrect.
die.
and
well,
there's
we
still
vote
no
not
parking.
to,
Yeah.
we vote no to override the veto. Then it's vetoed, and there's no parking.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Roll call?
Bast,
Who
No.
presented?
I did.
And who seconded?
You did.
Did.
Yeah.
Bast. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said no.
No, okay. Cassatt,
No.
Mope,
No.
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next is Resolution 2014-97, resolution reconsidering overriding the mayor's veto of ordinance 2014-11. This is the line items
I'll present.
I'll second.
on the question.
Well,
I just want to say one thing. I know the mayor has in the paper, Sam, and you've been quoting him that this is only to cut salaries, and that is totally false.
True.
We could cut a line item down to nothing anyway. It doesn't matter where it's at. We could cut a line item down to zero, which would include the salary. So making that argument is false. Is
Misrepresentation.
yeah, he's stating something that isn't a fact. We could at any time cut a line item that includes salaries, and you'd have to cut salaries. So we're not doing this to cut salaries. We have that power anyway. He just doesn't understand it or know it, or he just doesn't understand how city government works.
Council has the ability to create the budget line items, all right? That's one of our responsibilities and jobs, and that's our right. And with this being done, if we want to make them split into 6 different categories, we can do it. That's our prerogative as council.
Yeah, all this does is help us track line items better, and we could cut salaries anyway. We don't need a separate line item. He's saying we're doing this because we're cutting salaries. We could cut salaries anytime we want, except he doesn't listen to us.
Right. This creates transparency.
Yeah. This is just making it clear for our budget. You know, we talked about looking at other budgets from other cities like Lancaster, which, I brought here 5 or 6 years ago, Lancaster's budget, and I wanted to sort of get something similar to that adopted, which hopefully will move in that direction someday. Okay, any other questions?
Well, most of the line items that I put on there were things that were missing last year
Yeah.
that they had to put in, like incentive pays. It's stuff that we're contractually obligated to pay, and they weren't in the budget.
Yeah.
So I don't really see what he was
Well, some of them over the years got omitted just because they weren't being used.
Yes. So, yeah, it definitely wasn't to go after an individual person.
No, we have that power anyway. The mayor just doesn't understand it. Roll call?
Bast,
Yes.
Casat,
Yes.
Mo,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next, resolution 2014-98, a resolution reconsidering and override the mayor's veto of ordinance 2014-12
For opening bids at council.
for bids.
Present.
Second.
On the question.
I have a resolution here, and I have a lot of them. These are minutes from the council from when Mayor Yannuzzi was on council. This one happens to be October 21st, 2009. Resolution 2009-56, award a contract for 2009-2010 winter emergency snow removal and equipment, presented by Graham, seconded by Nellis. On the question, Nellis stated that past practice was to open bids at the council meeting. Nellis commented that he feels that they should start being opened at the council meetings again. Yannuzzi commented, if that is done, the resolution awarding the bid cannot be placed on the agenda and voted on until the next scheduled council meeting. All right? Roll call. Gabus, yes. Graham, yes. Monday, yes. Nellis, yes. Yannuzzi, yes. Bids were opened at council. I have tons of them here, all right, while the mayor sat on council. And it's funny, now that he's on the other side and he's the mayor, he seems to have a problem with this. This is due us by law, and his memo that he put out was his own interpretation. It did not come from the solicitor. So I'm in favor of having bids opened at council.
Any other questions?
I don't see what the difference is if you make a deadline at 4 o'clock on a Monday or 6 o'clock on a Tuesday. I mean, it's the most public meeting for the people to come to.
Exactly.
It's, the department heads could stay after work, or they could actually make a special meeting, 5 o'clock, work session to open them. But if all the citizens come here to voice their complaints, they should be able to come here and see what the rest of the business also.
And so with the contractors, or to see if they didn't bid, what it went for. You know, it's open to the public. And our meetings happen to be the most open to the public. You want to vote?
Roll call?
Bast,
No.
Casat,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next, resolution 2014-99, agreement to supplement the City of Hazleton's Code of Ordinances.
I'll present.
I'll second.
On the question?
On the question? Go ahead.
No, I know we talked about this last meeting, and you said about you wanted to offer the money for the pothole repair machine. After the meeting was over, I found out that machine was already ordered. It should be here within a week or two, and it's being completely paid for out of the state money from the liquid fuels. So I thought maybe we could bring this back up and talk about it. I mean, it was in the budget for the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years. So, I mean, if the concern last week was the pothole machine, that is being, along with some spreaders, it's being completely paid for out of state money and not tax money.
I know Bast has always been, Keith has been in favor of this, but one of my things, and I know that they always change, but we've gotten to the point where we're passing things and the mayor's ignoring them, all right? And for this at this time, I don't think it's relative right now.
When you need to find a law right now, you have to go through the code book, the third class city
You'll
code.
have to do
Then
that anyway.
No, you
Lisa
don't.
updates. Lisa
There's
updates.
2,026 files that we have to go through if we want to look for something that's a resolution or...
I have news for you. If you go in on a Saturday like I do, and you want to find something, such as minutes or what, you have to go through years of books.
I understand that, but why not make the laws?
It's not that hard. It
I
really
understand. I
isn't.
just think it'd be easier for the public to know what the laws are. If they're on that line, if I would know if my neighbor is doing something illegal. I mean, there was about 15 calls over the summer about outside burning,
We
and the
still
police
have things
department
up in
went there,
litigation.
and what they did was hand the people that called in the complaint a copy of the code and said, here it is. They're doing nothing wrong. We could save money on police calls if they know that neighbor's not doing something wrong compared to if they are.
And I agree with you on that. I'm not arguing the point. You have valid points. But what I'm trying to say is people also interpret it, all right, as, how would you say? It's on the books, all right? We have to go through a lawyer even for the interpretation. They'd still have to come back to the office and go back to the code enforcement office and
But
see
it would be
if
easy
this
to-
is correct or
If
not.
if I have a problem with somebody having 5 dogs, I'd be able to look up in the code and say, oh yeah, it is illegal to have 5 dogs in the city of Hazleton.
And who do you
Instead,
call?
You can go online to see.
You would
dog-
call,
pet
you
order.
would call,
Go
or you would
online
go.
and see it.
Yeah, but you would also call the code enforcement
I
office
know,
and
but-
then report it. Am I
But
correct?
they don't know what's wrong. You
They-
wouldn't know what's wrong if you
Then
can't
they
read.
would call and ask, what's the difference? They still got to
We're
call.
paying people money to sit there and talk on the
They
phone.
still got to call, regardless, Jeff, they
No,
still
they
got to
don't.
call.
But no, if it's not if it's not illegal, they don't have to call.
Okay.
They
How
can
do
look
they
for
know?
it. They went to
Okay,
look
Mr.
online
Chairman.
for it.
Go ahead, Dave. Dave would like to say
You know
something.
what, I think, there certainly are different philosophies to all of this, and I don't think that there's going to be a means of settling this except through the vote this evening. When I spoke about this last time on out, I spoke not just by the machine, but the cost of what city governance is costing us right now. And I still believe, and I will continue to state it, that the administration has this city on an untenable situation as far as the money is concerned. I understand both arguments. I understand the need to have this codified. I do understand that and appreciate it. I understand the problem, and it takes longer, and sometimes that's what has to be done. My suggestion and situation right now is that we're getting to a point in this year where it's becoming moot, and to do it for this year, and it would be the same, I'm sure that, and I'll get comments on it would be the same at any given
It's going
time.
to be, it's going to be
it's
moot
gonna
at
be
any
the
point
same
in
at
time
any
that we
time.
decide to do this.
But
I mean, it's 12 years already.
My problem right now with it is that this money right now needs to be spent in the most
Frugal.
well and judicial way possible, and I would
Do you really think he's going to put this back in the budget again in the next year or two? You think he's going to give us this money again?
I don't really know if he's going to
It's gonna
do
be
what
six-
he's going to do.
It's going to be It's going to be
budget.
16 years.
We can put it in the budget.
But the
That's what
situation,
you don't
the money
understand.
situation isn't going to be any better next year than it is this year. We're going to be in worse shape next year than we are this year.
That's probably your best reason why we can't afford it.
I just think that
Because
people have
we
the right to
can't-
know what's right and wrong in the city
I
and
know,
have
but we
access to
can't
it.
afford it, and that's the bottom line. We just came out of an executive session, and we don't even know what we can afford. We just got hit with a bottom line, all right, Jeff?
Well, we're never going to know what we need.
Well, we're
But
gonna have to
it's
just
in there. I mean,
bite the bullet for now. That's all.
We've been biting the bullet for the last 3 years on this
I
thing.
know, well, that's
Yeah,
until the
yeah.
mayor makes an improvement in our situation.
so-
Are we in the black or aren't we in the black?
we're not in the black, and we're not going to be in the black.
Well, according to the mayor, he said we're in the black. We also took a TAN's note out. I don't know what's going on with this city, do you? And until I get some answers, and I get some correct answers, all right, I'm not playing this game anymore. And right now, it's more important for us to watch every penny till we find out what's going on.
Okay. Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Casat,
Yes.
Moak,
No.
Sosar,
No.
Mundy.
No. Next, Resolution 2014-100, appointment to the Vacant Property Review Committee.
I'll present.
We need to amend it.
Okay, now Jeff,
Well, I gotta
is
present
this
it.
you or
second it.
is the mayor
You
appointing?
got a second so we could talk about it.
Okay, you second?
I seconded it, because
On the
we
question, is
kinda
the
need to do
mayor
that.
appointing you to this committee, or are we appointing you?
I had asked the mayor if he would to appoint me to this committee. We talked about this at the end of the last meeting at the work session. Jim Perry is still the legal counsel person on this committee. This vacant property review committee needs to be functioning to.
Who's on the vacant property review committee now? Do you know? Who's your fellow board members, or who will be your fellow board members?
I really
Don't know?
but
Just Jim. And Jim's no longer on council, so what does that tell you? It's a defunct board.
But it needs to be, this needs to be in order for the redevelopment authority to be able to get money.
I understand that, and it was maybe the mayor's responsibility to do it.
Well, I talked to him, and he said he was willing to put me on there.
He was willing. I thought he didn't like you.
Well, I don't know if he doesn't like me.
Is he your new best friend now?
I wouldn't say that.
I mentioned this to Jeff before the meeting, and
go ahead,
I
Dr.
would,
Sosa.
and because of what I've said about the boards and the commissions, and their need to be more oiled and in working order, I asked if I could be on instead, and so you know,
I have no
we've
problem
talked
with
a
it.
little bit, but if this is the mayor's call at this point, and we're not even sure
No, that's why.
as to what's going on, might we just table
Hey,
this
that's what
for
I was gonna say.
the
I just
next
want-
meeting until we see what's going on? So I'm going to make a motion that we table this.
Second. On the motion to table. Roll call.
Bast,
Yes.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, comments from the audience? No comments?
Oh, we know better.
That's okay.
I might as well start.
Go ahead. You could comment, whatever, comment away.
But first, I want to know about, because I was told by the code enforcement officer that there is a trailer that's licensed as a mobile restaurant that's on a lot at Tamarack and Wyoming Street that doesn't look like a proper business or a proper building. It doesn't look like it's mobile to me. I want to know if there was any code on any type of zoning that allowed it, or what's going on with that, why there is now a trailer in this vacant lot that's been operating as a restaurant. And though it claims to be a mobile, it doesn't move. It's been staying there for at least a couple of weeks, I've seen in one location.
I will have them check it out tomorrow.
Great. One of the other things I want to find out about is, what is the permit process for opening a driveway? In my neighborhood, there's a lot of properties that have put driveways in that I don't know if they went through the proper zoning or request process to get driveways open. I've seen that's happening throughout the city, that people are just trying to convert their front lawns into driveways. And what's been done and what can we do to correct that situation? Because I think that's a matter that's addressing property values.
I think at one time, the city encouraged off-street parking so the streets weren't congested, but I know there's rules. What are the rules? For any off-street parking, you have to follow zoning. Okay.
So we would have to file a complaint that find out that these individual properties are zoned?
If someone just did it without zoning, you could complain and we could check it out and see if they got the proper zoning.
And that's what I'll do. I'll file formal complaints on a couple of the properties that we do. I wanted to ask you also, what is the status so far of the 2015 budget? Do you have a rough draft, or is that still in limbo, or where are we at as far as that goes? I'm sure I'm asking a bad question to you in September, where we're at.
The 2015 or 2014?
2015, yes, 2015.
The 25th, that's the
2015.
I said the wrong date, I apologize.
budget. We haven't heard anything yet. As soon as we do, we'll let you know.
And whether your new line items will even be included in that budget. I also find it very disrespectful to both the council and the city that you have a mayor that says even if a resolution or an ordinance is overruled, the veto is overturned by council, that if he feels it's against his executive policy, he's going to ignore it. And I think that's very disrespectful to the city, to the people of the city, to have a blanket statement like that made by the chief executive of this municipality.
You're exactly right. You're absolutely right.
Good. Thank you very much, and look forward again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, you can go.
Since it's now December, have you received your capital budget?
No.
No. Have you asked for it?
Prior, yes.
Okay. How about somebody asking for it publicly?
We'll be
I would
happy
like
to.
our
We'll
capital
make it
budget.
a motion.
Well, maybe you
not
could
a
send
motion.
Lisa, send a memo to the mayor that we'd like our capital budget.
Okay.
Well, okay, he's next. After him, you can go. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, I live at Vine Manor.
Your name?
My name is Bill Croninger, and I live at Vine Manor, and we have to cross Vine Street from Mine Street, and I was just wondering about getting crosswalks there, because it's an extremely dangerous intersection.
Crosswalks.
Yeah, just the lines, at
The
least.
line's
you know.
painted for them to cross.
Yeah,
That-
because
that's
it's
good.
extremely dangerous, and at least, I mean, they don't stop for the stop signs, but at least the sidewalks will be there for protection of us a little
Lisa,
bit.
we'll send a memo to the chief to check on. We'll definitely look into it
Right,
and,
at least, yeah.
and try to get them.
And also on Vine Street, at the rail crossings, I don't know who handles that, but gates that come down, I know it's extremely wide road, but at one time, that road is not that busy, and now it's extremely busy, and they do run the trains. They do run to go, trains come, ooh, let's go past this.
Yeah, we'll
Outrun
have
it.
the
But
chief
the
check that.
crosswalk is more important than the
Yeah,
train
no,
thing.
the crosswalk, we'll have the chief check it out, and we'll check on the crossing too. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And then Teddy.
Just state your name and your address, and then.
My name is Bob Condrick. I live on Lincoln Street in Hazleton. I've been a resident of Hazleton for 60 years, and I pay all my taxes. I was never behind any. As a matter of fact, I paid them in advance. But I'm here to talk about this storm drain. Now, when I bought my property, it's a corner lot. It's 200 by 32. I bought when Mr. William Pence owned the home. And when he sold it to me, I was young. I just had two young children. He sold me half the lot, which was the front and half of the garden. We never divided it. It was just an imaginary line. And the back end was his garage. And a few years after that, he sold me the garage. But we left the two properties in two different deeds. Okay? Now, I get the storm sue bill for $25 for my front and $25 for my back. Now, my back garage, that back property, is on 13th and Branch Court. Okay? There is no sidewalks there. There is no curbs there. There is no storm drain there. I have the letter here I wrote, appealed it. They rejected it, saying it's a separate property. The water that comes down my alley, which I call it, it's Branch Court, goes all the way down to 15th Street. I see no reason why I have to pay an extra $25. $25 is probably like 10 cents to the what you call the mayor.
I agree with you.
I don't call him that.
I agree with you. Number one, the only person on this council that voted for the stormwater fee was Mr. Bass. So maybe he can answer some of your questions. But as far as the way the ordinance was written, it was written by the mayor and the mayor's cousin from the engineering, Dominic. He wrote most of that ordinance. So,
All right.
and I know some of these these questions should be, headed towards him. They're not here to answer them. I don't know if Keith would want to answer any of them, but he doesn't have to.
Yeah, see, I'm not here to cry poverty, but I'm going to be 80 years old, and I lived here all my life, and I worked all my life. I never even signed up for an unemployment check. And I paid all my taxes to the city, and I'm only living on Social Security pension right now. I get no pension from nobody, and $25 is a lot to me when I don't feel I owe it.
And you know what?
Okay?
I agree, because I thought I brought this up right from the beginning about this stormwater. And I know most of our residents, quite a large portion, are senior citizens and on fixed amount of money, all right? some people said, oh, $25 is no big deal or whatever. Well, you know what? It is, especially when you don't have it. So I agree with you, and you need an appeal process, and that was supposed to be part of that whole deal. And
I
you shouldn't have
appealed
been
it.
denied.
Here's the letter and the paperwork.
You shouldn't have been denied.
Here's the rejection. And
I understand exactly where you're coming from because I appealed mine as well. Now, I'm going to tell you why. And I mentioned before that this is ad lib government going on in this city, and I have proof of it tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show it to you, and I want everybody else in the city to hear this as well. I asked for an appeal, but I asked for a formal hearing. Okay?
Yes.
I wrote my letter and I asked for a formal hearing, that I had questions about this ordinance, about general fund versus dedicated fund, about its publication, about its formula, about everything.
Right.
Okay? And I did it, and I asked, in fact, I asked Lisa to send and forward to Mr. Prabula, if you will remember, a note. And I hadn't gotten anything back. Now, I will admit that during the summertime, my time became pretty preoccupied. And then I asked for it again. And I was in the office of the city clerk, of the council clerk, and I walked across the way. And I wrote a note to Mr. Prabula, who had plenty to say about me and other members of this audience about misleading people in this city about appealing this process. I wrote a note and I said, I want three things. Number one, I want to know how much Dominic Iannuzzi was paid to take care of the stormwater fee. I wanted to know how much he had been paid for the timbering contract, which was garbage. Garbage, because all it was cut and paste from a 2000 bid specs that the city water authority had put out years ago, and he didn't even do it right. And third, I asked, why and where is my formal hearing?
I didn't get one.
Okay, now, here's what I got back from Mr. Prabula. And he asked Dominic Iannuzzi specifically about this because this came from Dominic Iannuzzi, project manager. Tom, here is the breakdown. Timbering, July 2013, $1,260. Now, please take care of the dollars and cents that I mentioned. $1,260. August 2013, $1,440. September 2013, $1,560. Okay? Grand total, $4,200. Stormwater, total, no breakdown, total, $2,800. Okay? I got no answer in this. Now, oddly enough, this happened to have been sent to, and I have the note right here. This happened to have been sent from Dominic Iannuzzi back to Tom Prabula, and it CC'd mayor. Okay? Keep that in mind. It CC'd mayor. I got no answer on the third about your problem in mind, the stormwater.
I didn't get, all I got was a rejection.
Exactly. But wait, this gets better. This gets better. Right here.
Yeah, but I haven't sent
No,
pictures.
please, let me finish.
I haven't sent pictures of my property in the back. There's nothing.
Please, you're going to get a kick out of this.
No storm drain here.
You're going to get a kick out of this because we're in the same boat. I got a formal letter. Here it is for everybody to see. From the mayor's office of the city of Hazleton, August the 20th. Dr. Sosar, dear Dr. Sosar, in response to your handwritten note, number one, the answer is $0. Number two, the answer is $0. Number three, meeting is denied. I checked with the solicitor before the meeting when we had a executive session, because there is no CC to the city solicitor here, and I asked him about it. Nothing. So who made this decision? Either one of two people, Mr. Dominic Iannuzzi or the Mayor Joseph Iannuzzi. In neither case are there legal opinions. I got denied too. So don't feel bad about it, and that's why this is ad-lib government. This city is being run exactly the way he wants it, only as he wants it. You've heard him say, if I don't like what council does, I'm going to do only what I want to do, and I will take under consideration whether I want to follow your ordinances or not.
Right.
So guess what? We have total ad-lib government here. That's where we're at. And so I understand and I feel for you right now.
That's the letter I got.
That's the letter I got too. And then I got
appeal
this.
has been denied. Why wasn't there someone going around checking these lots to make sure there was no storm drains?
Well,
Somebody was
charge
not
us
doing
for
their
it.
job. And number two,
just charge
where
us
is
to
this
look at it.
$25 fee going?
Well,
Where is
Bob,
this $25 fee going?
I don't think there is an appeal process. I don't know of anybody who went to an appeal.
I don't know of anybody who
I
got an
think,
appeal heard.
Where do I run from here? Pay it? I'm not paying it. They said they put a lien on my property. It ain't putting no lien on my property. I paid all my taxes and everything for it.
You and I.
Don't put no lien on my property.
And first of all,
I paid for that house with hard
it
work.
wasn't a legal
I worked 2 and
ordinance.
3 jobs.
It was never advertised.
While we're on the total for Dominic, the total for Dominic over 2.5 years is over $400,000. That's what we paid. That's what the city has paid his firm over the last 2.5 years.
I will fight that fight for you, sir.
Okay. My last comment is all you people were elected by the city of Hazleton to represent the city of Hazleton, including the so-called mayor. Where is the mayor? He is supposed to be at all these council meetings. That's the law. Well, he never shows up because he's afraid to show up. Because everything he's doing wrong.
You're right, Bob. You're
Now
right.
you understand why.
Thank you.
He
You're
tells
right.
He belongs at these meetings.
he suggests he does not want to be belittled and berated and called names. This proves that unfortunately he just doesn't want to listen and follow rules.
Well, he's wrong. Then he should be impeached.
Right. You're right, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, calm down.
Okay,
Can't do
thank
that.
you, Bob. Go ahead, Dee.
Dee Deacus, Hazleton. There was one appeal that did go through for the stormwater. I helped a person write. They had 3 acres of land, and they got hit for $1,000, and it was vacant land. And I gave them the ordinance where it said it was $5 an acre if it was vacant. And Dominic called them up on the phone and offered to settle at $250. And since it was supposed to be only $15, they didn't accept it, and they have no idea what the next step is. So there was one somewhat of an appeal.
It
Wasn't a formal appeal.
It
He
wasn't
just
a
called-
formal
Dominic
one.
just called him.
Dominic just called him up on the phone.
I would like to know precisely where and how
He came up with 250.
he was selected as being the arbiter since he wrote, supposedly, the ordinance. How does the person who becomes the writer of the ordinance become the judge or arbiter of it? According to what you were asked to do in your bill, you were asked to forward your complaints to the Department of Administration. And when I handed my bill in, my bill was, not my bill rather, but my appeal, the acting director of administration took it from his hands without looking at me and tossed it in a box and said, that's Dominic's problem, not mine. I'd like to know who made that decision, because this body did not.
And also, according to an article in the newspaper from the mayor, it was his comment, and Sam, you could probably find it. I believe he stated that Berkheimer was doing the appeal process, which is totally not true.
Well, I just want you to know there was
Thank you.
an attempt of an appeal that I had them write out the code that why they should only be charged $15.
And so now what are we doing? Playing Let's Make a Deal?
Well, basically, he said, well, we'll let it go at $250, and they didn't accept that.
I don't blame them.
But they're still not going to pay it.
Dear God.
But there is, if you ever want to contact that person, I could give you the name.
I'd like to
afterwards.
find that out. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mark.
First, regarding the gentleman's stormwater situation, I feel that the stormwater ordinance, and I still feel it today as I did then, it violates state law under the Stormwater Management Act. It's, it was passed by the former council that said they needed to do it because there was $500,000 a hole in the budget. So, and under the Stormwater Management Act, it says clearly that if you get a stormwater fee, first of all, it has to be done within the guidelines of that Stormwater Management Act, must follow the county stormwater management plan, and they must have a public hearing, and the fee goes in a dedicated fund, not the general fund, because we have an impotent and incompetent mayor. So that being said, also about the local media saying about the blighted properties, our local paper, let me clarify. The local paper saying about the blighted properties that was done over the years, there was only two things done. One was the Pine Street project, and the second was the Cranberry Walnut, properties which the redevelopment authority did under this mayor, and those were the only two projects done in 15 years. Okay, that's 15 years. So how, with a straight face, can you say, "Oh, the Barletta-Iannuzzi administrations have done everything they possibly can do to deal with blighted properties"? That's a crock of bull. And you could write that, Sam, in the Standard Speaker, that Mark Rabo, Luzerne County Redevelopment Authority, said that the Barletta and Iannuzzi administrations have done nothing in 15 years. So, that being said, I also said before the Downtown Alliance decided to embark on the revitalization of Broad Street, along with the usual merry supporters of the Barletta and Iannuzzi clan, I said before that you should use a redevelopment authority to take care of the blighted areas around the downtown if you're going to embark on this. I think I even said at a couple times that you should use the Elm Street designation if they're going to use the Main Street designation. And in paper, I believe 4 or 5 days ago, when Jeff met with the Pittston Redevelopment Authority chairman, former Mayor Lombardo, and he said that he gave all these ideas for revitalizing downtown Hazleton, and I couldn't help but wonder, okay, this guy is on an active and working redevelopment authority, so why, does he know about the situation in Hazleton? And does he know about revitalizing areas around the downtown? Wouldn't you know it, I came up with this. There was an article in, I got it online. I can't make out the name of the paper, but it was Saturday, September 29th, 2012. Mr. Lombardo said, and I'm quoting him here, "If we can't stabilize our neighborhoods," Lombardo said in his remarks, "we can't move forward with our downtown."
Right.
Okay? So, what changed, Jeff, as far as with what Mr. Lombardo said? Or maybe does Mr. Lombardo not know that the mayor in his little clan basically used the redevelopment authority and his predecessor as a dummy corporation. Okay? So maybe he should be informed of that before, he gets all these ideas of the downtown. And I might want to have a talk with him about that. So also, he said, and you're going to like this, all of you. He says that instead of driving out property owners, we should be soliciting to get property owners to buy in the city. What a novel concept. Broadening the tax base instead of bringing in renters. Gee, maybe the mayor should, get that in his cerebral cortex, because, by doing that, expanding the tax base, we actually get more for our services, and we actually can, make the city a better place. But instead, the mayor, in one of the Downtown Alliance meetings, said right across from me, he said that the people who have been born and raised here and lived here most of their lives, like this gentleman over here, don't matter anymore. He said it right across from me, and Neil D'Angelo was sitting right next to him. So you tell me if this peon cares about our city. He doesn't. Okay? And I think, hey, if you wanted to impeach him, you got to talk to the state reps, but I doubt that they're going to do anything because they're all in cahoots with him. So.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Thanks, Mark. Any other questions? Comments? Go ahead. You would like to make a comment? Oh, okay. Any other comments? Okay, that's it. Comments from council. Keith?
Just one thing, because this keeps getting brought up about the stormwater. This council had the ability to repeal that ordinance when they came on board and did not do that. I know why, because then there would have been a $500,000 hole in a budget. I guess it was December. There were a lot of questions. There were questions that I had with this new majority, said that they had all of these ideas for the city and how to get money. And at that time, I did ask Mr. Mundy what his ideas were, and at that time he said he wasn't going to tell anybody yet. We've had 8+ months since the election, since the first of the year. There still have been no ideas mentioned about ways to get this city money or any revelations from this council majority, except blaming everybody else. And it would be nice if there was some kind of idea. I know that all my ideas were shot down and said that they were terrible, etc., because it's, the right thing to do politically.
Your stormwater was your idea.
Not to.
That was your idea.
Did I finish talking yet,
Okay,
Jack?
go
Because
ahead.
we know you love to interrupt people and try to scream and try to yell and try to say everything you want to do.
I just wanted to point that out, that was your idea.
Order, please.
Come on, go ahead.
You want to
Have
scream
order,
and yell,
Go ahead.
Jack?
We have order.
Because that's how you are.
Go ahead.
You're
Go
big
ahead.
bully, and you've been a bully since you were a kid. Because I can tell how you act here, Jack.
Go ahead.
Is the same way an 8th grader
Finish
acts.
your statement.
And I would just love to hear something constructive to help this city come from this majority, that we have not heard anything in the last 8 months, except everything else. And I would love to find out where that $500,000 is going to come from for next year, because we're going to be in the hole. We still have nothing on your end as any kind of ideas whatsoever. When we come to talking about resumes and coming at meetings and having people come to answer questions, yes, if it's not someone that you want to appoint. We can go back to the Water Authority. We can go all the way back to when I took office and we had a discussion, Jack, and you said John Nillis was horrible and you would never put him on the Water Authority when I asked you about him 2.5 years ago, the last civil conversation you and I had, when you were trying to get me to go along with everything that you wanted to do. And that's what you told me then, that he would not be good for that position and you would never vote for him. Fast forward 2.5 years later, you decide to put his name up. I'll know why, it's a political move. For all of a sudden that he's actually competent to do the job when you said that he wasn't competent 2.5 years ago. You know, it's just kind of sad about all this stuff. You know, you make comments to people or about your buddy up there, Dick Amon. He takes 2-3 hour lunches up at the Water Authority. If anybody tries to get rid of him, they're just going to be out of a job when, you know, the new term comes. Because he's not. He's, you know, he's making the big bucks up there and doing whatever he wants.
Rambling statement?
I can say whatever I want, Jack.
Good. You could make
Chairman,
stupid statements.
you know what? Point of order,
But go
please,
ahead.
sir.
Point of order.
And what I'd like to do right now is just remind, this is comments of the floor. This is not a chance to belittle anybody. This is not a chance to
Have
take
you
personal
sat next
shots
to this man for the
at
last
people.
3 years?
I've sat here for 3 years, up there, down here, and everywhere.
And you haven't heard him.
I don't want people, personal people, getting shots. That's wrong. You continue to talk.
About Jack
Continue to talk.
taking personal shots at
Continue
everybody
to
that he
talk.
can.
Go ahead. Finish your statement, Keith.
You know what? Forget it, because I know how you guys act, and it's just for all of you and your friends for political gains. It makes me disgusted. I got into this for the people of Hazleton. I got into this for the people of Hazleton, and we're going to make faces now. Dick, you're just shows how incompetent you are.
Okay, finish your statement. Are you,
you know
done,
what?
Keith?
Thank you for all the, for the people for showing up tonight.
Okay.
It just makes
Jeff,
me.
Jeff, would you like to make a statement?
People are.
I did spend 4 hours up in Pittston with Mike Lombardo, the former mayor, and the progress they made was incredible. But they did it through everybody working together and just going above and beyond, spending time after work. But the key is working together, and that's why their progress has put them in a good position. And I just hope we can get to that point sometime. Just want to thank everybody for coming. That's it.
David, you want to make a comment?
I've said an awful lot already about the ad lib government that goes on here. Years past, it just evidently just got passed on through, and the mayor got whatever he wanted, and that was it. Now, unfortunately, there are people that are questioning, and you can see why. When people are supposedly talking to one another, and they still can't get the answers right, there's something terribly wrong going on in this city. And now you begin to understand why this city is in the shape that it is. Okay? We are not able, and the question has been brought up, why haven't you done anything in 8 months? What can you do when we don't even have a budget passed yet because we have a vacant chair over there? We've had a solicitor that hasn't showed up since April. We've gotten no answers on court cases and legal opinions that we continue to ask about. And it's all coming from one desk, one office that gives the order, you will not work with counsel, you will not answer them, you will not abide by what they're going to do, and you've read it in the paper now. You've read it in the paper. If I like what they do, I'm going to follow it. If I don't think I like what they're doing, then I'm just going to say that it's wrong, it's illegal, it doesn't matter, and I'm going to follow what I want. That is not a way to run a city. Okay? That is not a way to run a city. And we cannot, this is a detriment now to the city of Hazleton and to the good people of this city. Okay? We've got to do something about this. And if it means that, you know what? How in Lord's name can you have plans and move ahead when you have somebody that simply blocks everything and anything that you want to do? You tell me. And wants to act like the supreme leader. That's what we're talking about. Now, on a more pleasant note, I would like to introduce tonight, because he is sitting here, and unfortunately, Mr. Estrella, you're taking in an awful lot that unfortunately I don't think that you really want to. This is not what you expected from local government, I'm sure. The young man is a Penn State student who is looking for an internship here in the city and working with the various departments. You'd just like to let people know. And I'd like to see him have an opportunity to work in a number of departments. You can't work with just the city council. We don't have enough work, although we do have quite long meetings at times. The fact of the matter is that working with students like this before, working with code, working with health, working with economic development, community development, working with streets, working with everybody, I think he will get still a good lesson in what local government is all about. But I would encourage all of you who are with city government to extend a welcoming hand and to offer him all the encouragement. Lord knows unfortunately, I don't think we did tonight, but you understand that sometimes there are going to be difficulties within government, and we're going to have different eye-to-eye experiences. But I would like him to at least know that we welcome you, and we are happy to have you. I hope you can say the same in 15 weeks. Okay? Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jean.
Yes, I concur with what Dr. Sosar has said, and that's one of all the other reasons as well. I have trouble doing a new code book because it's taken us 8 months and maybe a lot longer to undo a lot of the wrongdoings that were done by the previous council. All right? This is what we've been working on. Without cooperation, without an attorney. I introduced myself to Attorney Slesser tonight when we got to meet him at the executive session, and I can't hold him at fault totally. In order for him to stay on board as the city solicitor, it's basically do as you're told or you're out, because the mayor appoints him, all right? And so it's basically, we've had this discussion, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. We have not had cooperation and good leadership, and that's where we have failed. And we failed you as a community because of it. We are trying our best. We've done everything that we can to work with the administration to no avail. All right. Now, if you want to talk about making deals, Keith, you came to me, asked me to meet you at the altar, and you wanted to make a deal with me to pick your guy, and you'll give me somebody. And I told
Exactly, because I wanted to see what you said.
No.
Because I wanted to see what you said.
Yes.
Yeah, because you do it to me all the time.
Okay.
I told you no, and I did not vote for him.
Because I wanted to see what you said.
Also, you wanted to
Yeah,
entrap.
because, yeah.
You were at Jack's making a deal. So let's
Because
call
I
a
wanted to
spade a
see
spade.
what
And
Jack
I'm
was
tired
about,
of
and I
it.
found out what he
You
was
made
about.
promises
He's
to the
about his
public.
himself.
You made promises to
Okay.
the public. You wanted to have a forensic audit. You've disappointed the public, and the public is calling
Because
you
it was
out
costing too much money. If you want
on it.
$4,000,
You should have
try
said
about
that.
75
You should have
when I found
that
out what we
before
were
you
in.
went and made your statements and made your promises
Okay.
to the public.
Okay, let Jeannie speak. It's her turn, Keith.
We know she
You've
loves
been
to.
negative towards me and to council ever since then. Everything I do,
No,
and
I was negative to you since the day that you said, when I had people on my front door threatening me because I wouldn't put Dick Amon on the Water Authority, and you
Okay.
said I have to get used to it because they were at my house threatening me.
no.
Yes,
No.
you said that.
I
And I'll
never
get the
said
minutes.
that.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
get
that's
the
enough.
minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's enough.
I've had it. I've had it with you and your personality. You
Go
have
ahead,
a
Jeannie,
major
go
chip
ahead.
on your shoulder, and you better get over it. And guess what,
know.
honey? You are no longer on the majority, whether you like it or not. So you
I
better
didn't say
learn to
that
live
I
with
was. I never was.
Okay,
You're no longer in the majority.
Yeah.
okay, that's okay, John. Okay, go ahead, Jeannie.
it. Number two,
ahead.
I apologize to the public for my outburst, but I mean, they're so long I can only tolerate this, and I'm tired of being beaten up on a weekly basis. It's done. It's done. I appreciate that you're here. I appreciate all that you do for us. I appreciate everybody that tries to put input in to make the city a better place. I said this the last time. You come here faithfully every week for us, and I am thankful for it. We're trying our best. Unfortunately, we get no cooperation, as I said, with the mayor, and that's something that has to be addressed as well. And as soon as we can find out where we stand with our budget, we'll be able to move forward. Thank you so much, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Jean. I just have one or two quick things. I wish that the mayor and even the manager of the city would be here to help answer questions. It's a shame that he isn't here, because it makes it difficult for us to do stuff and to work city government. Yeah, and there's no excuse for him or the manager, who's Tom Pabula, to be here, or the city solicitor. We should have one of the three or two of the three here to help us with city government. That being said, I just want to apologize to Mr. Amon for the personal attack on him. We're not here to make personal attacks on people, and I know that came from Mr. Keegan, who gave you that information, but I apologize for that. That's what we're not here for. You know, we're here to try and move the city forward. Keith, your majority did what they wanted to do for the last 3 years. I had many ideas that
You never
were
came
ignored.
through with one idea, Jack.
I came to the council with many ideas. They were totally ignored by the president and the majority of council. We passed a budget where we cut salaries within reason that people could live with. We added $100,000 to the streets department and other things that was a workable budget. And we have good ideas that will move the city forward, but unfortunately the mayor, doesn't agree with what we want to do. And that's why we're going to court. And hopefully we're going to win. And once we win, the mayor will be forced to implement some of our changes, which we think will be better for the city of Hazleton. We're not in favor of the stormwater fees or taxing people out of their homes. That's what their answers were at the last council. And that's what happened to them. They lost. People can't afford any more new taxes. They're at their end. And we have to find a different way to run city government. And you just can't keep increasing people's taxes and taking money from them because they don't have it. But that being, I agree with Dr. Sosar. Yeah, we're at our wits' end. Hopefully, we're going to check on the progress of the lawsuit with the city against the mayor. I believe we're going to win, and once that happens, we'll start moving the city forward. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.